Hello, welcome back to my channel. As you can see today, we're going to be doing a full face of makeup. So the first thing that I start off with is primer. I usually put on lotion on my face periodically throughout the day so my skin doesn't get dry. But whenever I am starting off in my makeup, I do always start off with primer because it just sets down a nice foundation for anything else that I'm going to be putting onto my skin. I particularly like this primer because it is a little bit sticky, so it does have the makeup sit on my skin for quite a while, and it does help with any oily areas that I might have as well. So once I'm done working in the product, the next thing that I do is I move on to my eyebrows. I like to start out my eyebrows by simply just combing them out in order that I can see their natural shape. I can follow that natural shape, and in addition to that, I don't overfill them. I get a simple eyeliner brush that has an angle, any type of angled brush. Then I use my Anastasia dip. This is what a lot of people actually use these days because the consistency is just very creamy. It's very pigmented. So I like to start out on my ends of my eyebrows. I pretty much follow the shape of the arch, giving it a more cut type of design on the underlining and in addition to the ends. So you'll notice that once I've done the ends, I start to inch to the inner part of my eyebrows, and I follow that same line, outlining my eyebrows. Once that's done, I begin filling the eyebrow from the bottom to the top, giving it a little bit more of a shape and a darkness. But I personally don't like my eyebrows to be too blocked out or too dark. I try to keep them natural. So as a result, I create kind of like an ombre type of motion where I lightly line the bottom of the eyebrow in the beginning. You will notice that I am taking a motion where I am taking the brush from the bottom to the top. That allows me to kind of just take the pomade, and create an even type of darkness all throughout the eyebrow. Then once I feel like I've filled in a sufficient amount of the gaps and spaces, gave it enough shape, then I go in afterwards and I brush them again. By doing this, it kind of removes any type of harsh lines that is in the eyebrow, and it gives it a more even look. After my eyebrows, I do go in with my foundation. I do that so that way I give a sufficient amount of time for that primer to sit in my skin. And then I go in with a simple flat brush and I just dot all over my face. I do dot a little bit more on the parts of my face where I do see blemishes or any type of darkness. And I try to make sure that I get an even amount of product all throughout my face, underneath my eyes, and I do also make sure that I get the neck area as well, as you've just seen, so that way I can make sure that the product is dragged down my neck, and my face are not two different colors. So I continue to just try to blend it out. And I gotta make sure I lift up my headband, because that's also another problem. When you have a headband on, laying down your edges, you gotta make sure that the product gets up under there, so that way you don't remove the product from your face in different areas that you don't want, and you have an all-around even type of tone. So that's what you see in this part. Just overall making sure that I'm working it in as much as I can with that brush. And then after the brush, I go in with my beauty blender, I really like to apply the product with my brush because the Beauty Blender does even things out, and it creates kind of a seamless type of foundation, but it isn't the best to necessarily applicate the product with because it will remove some of that product since it is a sponge. And so you'll just notice me working the product out evenly all throughout my face. So here you'll notice that I'm checking my face to make sure that everything is even. I haven't missed any spots. And I'm also checking for those blemish areas. So now I'm going to go in with my concealer. My concealer kind of brightens up areas that I want. In this particular case, you'll notice I do put a lot on my under eye area because I do have bags from working a lot, going to school, and every day just shenaniganry. So I go in with my concealer underneath my eyes. I go in on the areas that I want to highlight as well, like underneath my chin. And then I do also apply concealer to any type of blemishes. Next, you'll notice after I check my face that I am going to go in with my Rimmel London highlighter, contour, and blush. I like to take an angled brush and I go in with my contour first. I just contour around the perimeter of my face and my cheekbones in order to give it a more profound look. So like I said, I go in under my cheekbones to create a different type of dimension with the contour. Next, after my cheekbones, you will notice that I will, like I said, do the perimeter of my face to make sure that around my forehead and around my jawline, I'm giving the same depth that I created in my cheekbones on my face. So you will notice that I actually don't use a lot of contour. I try to keep this as much of a everyday look, not really too dramatic, just enough to make a difference. So after my contour, you'll notice that I go in with my blush. I do like a lot of blush. I like a rosy cheek look. I think that it brings some life to my face, makes me look young. I know that I am young, but I feel like it emphasizes that. It makes me look happier, makes me feel happier. Sometimes during the summer, I actually put blush on my nose itself to give me that cute little sunburnt look. But here I'm just putting it on the balls of my cheek. I do try to actually even it out as much as I can so that way I don't just have a whole bunch of pink in one area, but even if I do, I kind of don't mind. So then after my blush is finished, then we go in with my highlighter. This highlighter is super, super pigmented, and I honestly didn't expect that from this little Rimmel London 3-for-1, I'll call it. But I am very happy with the results. So you will notice that I do actually place my highlighter on my high cheekbones, around my eyebrows a little bit in a crescent shape. I do put it on my nose. I put a little bit on my forehead, and sometimes I put it on my cupid's bow or my chin. It really just depends where I would like to draw attention to. And so then after I am done putting on my contour, my blush, and my highlighter, I take another brush that does not have any product on it, and I just blend the three together so that way I don't have any harsh lines. So now that my face is done, the next step that I do is I put on some false eyelashes. Most people don't know how to actually put on false eyelashes, so this is just how I do it. Disregard that, that's from my eyebrows. But most people actually don't know how to put on false eyelashes. This is how I do it. So I just need the false eyelash itself. If you notice that it does have an arch, and you would want to follow the arch to the shape of your eye, making sure that the inner corner has the shorter lashes and the outer corner has the longer lashes. I like to do this motion to my eyelashes so that way I can give it the same curvature as my eyelid itself. So next, you take your eyelash glue and you just put it on the strip itself and give it some time so that way it can get tacky, because once it gets tacky, aka meaning sticky, that's when we're going to go ahead and apply the eyelash itself. What I also like to do is I like to put some glue on my line, the lid of my eye, and I line it kind of like eyeliner, and this kind of just reinforces the lash on my eye and making sure that it doesn't fly away when I don't want it to, and then we have an awkward encounter. So yeah, that's what you're just seeing right now, because once the eyelash glue on the eyelash itself and the eyelash glue on my eyelid itself gets sticky, the bond it creates is ridiculous. So now you'll be noticing that I'm going to actually put on the lash. What I do is I roughly just overlay it on my lashes. I make sure that the inner corner is not too close so that way it doesn't poke me in my eye all day, because I literally hate that. Once it's laid over where I want it to be, I take my needle nose tweezers, which I always use needle nose tweezers because they're very accurate. Very easy to get in the inner corners. And I know that I'm off camera right now, so I deeply apologize, but all I'm actually doing is just pinching it down, and all I'm doing is pressing the band of the eyelash itself in with my actual line where I want it. And that line where I want it, I'm referring to the line where I placed the glue. So this is where you'll actually see how the tackiness comes in handy in placing it down. It is a little bit hard to lift up if you do make a mistake, but you do want to do this when your glue is not completely dry. It is still a little bit wet, so that way it is able to be worked. So I did the other side. So now I have both lashes on. We on fleek. But There is one part that I do, which some may suggest not to do, but I do it anyways. I just take my glue and I lightly put a little bit of glue at the end of the felt tip, and I go on the underline of my lashes, where my real lashes are underneath my fake lashes. And the reason why I do this is actually so that way, once this gets tacky, I can simply just crimp my natural lash to the fake lash. Now, for some people, this will destroy your natural lashes, so I don't recommend it for everyone. But when I take off my makeup at the end of the day and I take off my eyelashes, I use coconut oil, and the coconut oil stops me from ripping out my natural lashes, so it really doesn't matter how much glue I use. The next step that I use is just some mascara. I always put mascara on my lower lashes so that way they can pop a little bit more. So that way it's not just my upper lashes that are long. It makes it look more real, in my opinion. Although we know that these long ass eyelashes are not naturally mine, emphasizing how long my lower lashes actually are kind of complete the look for me. So that's what you'll see here, where now you can actually see my lower lashes, which helps out quite a bit. So now that final step that you see me talking about, I'm crimping my natural lash to the false eyelash. I do this with my tweezers so that way I don't have to get glue on my hands or my fingers or my nails. Like I said, this is just something that I do, and it makes me feel like they come out a lot more realistic, and I don't have my natural lashes coming down and stabbing me throughout the day either. So yeah, this is just something that I have picked up over the years of me wearing fake eyelashes. And you know, if you'd like to try it, by all means go ahead. It's at this point, it's whatever works for you, whatever makes you feel happy. I'm fully for it. So here you'll just see me fixing the lashes, doing some last minute touches, making sure that the shade goes with my actual eyes. And I am honestly so happy with the results. The very last thing that I do with my makeup is I put on some lip gloss. Sometimes I put on lipstick, but for the most part it's just some basic lip gloss. I feel like it accentuates my natural lips. I naturally have full lips, thank you to my mama and my daddy. But yeah, after that I am pretty much done, and this is my final look of my everyday makeup. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if there's anything else that you would like to see. Have a wonderful day.